Hello, everybody. It's Paul Nison with Torah Life Ministries. Thank you for joining me. We are reading the scriptures live as we do every day. So we're starting off. We're reading Job chapter 4 today. We're going to start off with the Shema, found in Deuteronomy 6:4-9. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, Baruch Shem Kivo, Mahutov. Leolam Vaed. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our Elohim, Yahweh is one. Blessed is his name of the glorious kingdom for all eternity. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And have these words which I command you this day be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, of your house and upon your gates. Amen, amen. So we are up to the 4th chapter of the book of Job. It's not a big chapter today, but please don't just make this your daily Bible reading. I want you to read as much of the word as you can each day. It's so important to get this and understand this. But starting off here in verse 4, or in the 4th chapter, we'll be reading. So it says here, and Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, so this is one of the reply to Job by one of his friends. And the note here says, Eliphaz claimed to have been given secret knowledge through a special revelation from Yahweh, and that he had learned much from personal experience. He argued that suffering is a direct result of sin. So if Job would only confess his sin, suffering would end. Eliphaz saw suffering as Yahweh's punishment, which should be welcomed in order to bring a person back to Yahweh. In some cases, of course, this may be true, but it was not true with Job. Although Eliphaz had many good and true comments, he made 3 wrong assumptions. Number 1, a good innocent person never suffers. That was his first mistake by saying that. Number 2, his mistake was those who suffer are being punished for their past sins. And number 3, Job, because he was suffering, had done something wrong in Yahweh's eyes. Okay, and then there's a side note that says, for more about Eliphaz, we could see his profile and learn more about him. And the city that they were in, or he was from, Teman, was a trading city from Edom, noted as a place of wisdom, as we see in Jeremiah 49:7. So those are just some notes here on chapter 4, verse 1. Verse 2 says, shall one try a word with you who are weary, but who can't hold back with words? Behold, you have instructed many, and you have made weak hands strong. Your words have upheld him who was stumbling, and you have made feeble knees strong. And the Hebrew idiom for verse 4 is feeble knees, means weakness and uncertainty. Weakness and uncertainty. Okay, verse 5 reads, but now it has come upon you, and you and faint. It touches you, and you are dismayed. It is not your fear of Elohim, your confidence, your hope, or is not your fear of Elohim, your confidence, your hope, the integrity of your ways? I beg you, remember, he who was being innocent perished, or where were the righteous cut off? And then verse 8 says, as I have seen, the ones who plow iniquity and sow misery reap the same. And the note here in the New Living Testament for what we just read, and we're reading out of the Hebraic root scriptures, says, part of what Eliphaz said is true, and part is false. It is true that those who promote sin and trouble eventually will be punished. It is false that anyone who is good and innocent will never suffer. All the material recorded and quoted in the Bible is here by Yahweh's choice. Some is a record of what people said and did, but it is not an example how to follow. It is not an example to follow. The sins, the defeats, the evil thoughts, the misconceptions about Yahweh are all recorded in Yahweh's divinely inspired word. But we should not follow these wrong examples just because they are in the Bible. The Bible gives us teachings and examples of what we should do as well as what we should not do. Eliphaz's comments are an example of what we should try to avoid, making false assumptions about others based on our own experience. Very good wisdom in that note there. And let's read verse 9. They perish from the breath of the Elohim and the blast of his anger. They are consumed. The lions roar, and the voice of the lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion is perishing for lack of prey, and the lioness offspring are scattered. Verse 12. Now a word was stolen to me, and my ear received a whisper of it. In thoughts from the visions of the night, when a deep sleep falls on men. And we see here the note saying, although Eliphaz claimed that his vision was divinely inspired, it is doubtful that it came from Yahweh, because later Yahweh criticized Eliphaz for misinterpreting him or misrepresenting him. Whatever the vision source, it is summarized in 4:17. On surface, this statement is completely true. A mere mortal cannot compare to Yahweh and should not try to question Yahweh's motives and actions. Eliphaz, however, took this thought and expounded on it later, expressing his own opinions. His conclusions reveals a very shallow understanding of Job and his suffering. It is easy for teachers and counselors and to be well-meaning friends to begin with a portion of Yahweh's truth, but then go off target. Don't limit Yahweh to your perspective and finite understanding of life. So those are some notes for 12 and 13. And then we read 14, and 14 says, fear and trembling meet me and made my many bones dry. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. And the note here, or the Hebrew idiom for verse 15, when it says the spirit passed before my face, means I was in a vision. I was in a vision. Then verse 16 says, it stood still, but I could not discern its form. An image was before my eyes. There was silence. Then I heard a voice. Verse 17 says, is man more righteous than Elohim, or a strong man more pure than his maker? Behold, he puts no trust in his servants, and he charges his messages with error. How much more those that dwell in a house of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, they crush them before the moth. And the note here says, for verses 18 and 19, do angels really make errors? Remember that Eliphaz was speaking, not Yahweh. So we must be careful about building our own knowledge of the spiritual world from Eliphaz's opinion. In addition, the word translated foolishness is used here, and its meaning is unclear. We could save Eliphaz's credibility by saying he meant fallen angels, but this passage is not meant to teach about angels. Eliphaz was saying that sinful human beings are far beneath Yahweh and the angels. Eliphaz was right about Yahweh's greatness, but he did not understand Yahweh's great purposes concerning suffering. And that was the note for verse 18 and 19. Verse 20 said, they are shattered from morning till evening, and they perish forever with no one regarded. And then final last verse, it is not their tent. Is not their tent cord pulled up within them? They die, but not with wisdom. They die, but not with wisdom. So that was the end of chapter 4 in this today's reading. I'm going to close with the Aaronic benediction, and I pray everyone has a blessed day today. And we're going to pray with the Numbers 6:24 to 26. Yerivkika, Yahweh, Ivishmarikika, Yo'er Yahweh, Padana, Alaka, Vikunika, Yosi Yahweh, Padana, Alaka, Yasamaka, Shalom. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. All right, everybody. Have a blessed day out there today. Thank you for watching. Yahweh be with you all. And please share this with others. And remember, keep reading the scriptures and show shalom, shalom.